going up, whose cones are busty. Weezer gig and make crusty. Grab your dude, don't use roughness. Moving close and groove his buffness. Buff the wood, come on, buff the wood. Buff the wood. What? Dude, get off. They're enjoying themselves. Come on. I don't care if it's like circular dancing, bro. Come on. Look, they're having a blast. Are you guys having fun? Yeah!
Drew, have you ever square danced in your life?
I have not, but I've been to like a square dancing place, I feel. I think. Have you?
Would you be... No, never. Would you be more or less likely to square dance if Pauly Shore was emceeing or whatever the heck you call it, the announcer?
That's an event. Like, you got to go and you got to see how this guy's going to do it. He did exactly as I thought he would. He got that crowd pumped up. Do you think he did a good job?
Yeah, the wood was showing. I mean, the wood was showing.
All the men with the wood.
He just wants to give wood to people. That's his main goal in life. Pauly
His
Shore.
mission?
His life's
wood?
mission is to give wood.
You know how appropriate that is? It's highly That's bring it back. It's the inno level of appropriate. So.
Inappropriate.
Welcome back to the Last Row Podcast. This is episode 119. We are here for Thanksgiving, Badway. It is Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you are looking for our website, thelastrowpodcast.com, check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, at The Last Row Pod. Leave us a Facebook like. If you're enjoying the show, hit that subscribe button on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Thanks to everyone that did so far. Happy Thanksgiving, Badway.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to the listeners, too. We're here on Thanksgiving, which is a nice surprise for everybody, isn't it? Right on schedule. So before we get too far into this, I just want to ask you, because I have some things, but what are you thankful for this year, Badway? Do you have anything that you're specifically thankful for?
Well, I'm thankful for each and every one of our 5-star reviews.
Yes.
That's what I'm thankful for. But, no.
I agree with you. But I want to say, like, look, I'm thankful for you, man. I got to say this, and I'm not being cheesy here. I'm thankful for you. You're a great friend, a great co-host. I wouldn't do this. We wouldn't be doing this without you. And I just want to say thank you for, this is like over 2 years now that we're officially back, consistently releasing episodes. And I'm so thankful for everyone that listens to our show, leaves a review, and like took a minute to just write into us. Thank you, everybody that's out there. You guys are the best, and I just really appreciate everyone that sends us some love. So thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
You're gonna make me cry.
I mean it, man. I mean it, and I hope you all understand that I mean it. But I just, it's a spirit of thankfulness and being thankful for everybody, and it's just, we got to say it because they are amazing, as are you. So thank you for everybody.
Thankful for you too. Hopping on the mics, getting to chat, movies and stupid things, Pauly Shore, whatnot. That's what we love to do.
I'm thankful for Pauly Shore too. No, so before we get too far into it, what do you think of Thanksgiving as a holiday? Is this like is it one of your favorites? Like, where does it rank?
It might be number one. I don't know.
It's overshadowed by Christmas,
yeah,
I feel.
Yeah, it's all about the food, the family, you know? What's not to love? I mean, it's not like overshadowed by presents. Like Christmas is the same thing, but with gifts and maybe expectations of gifts and nerves of, will this person not like my gifts that I got? This is none of that. This is just, you show up, you hang out, you eat,
watch some football.
You watch some football, and it's play some games, and it's like this. That's what it's all about.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving food? So obviously there's turkey, but what do you have a favorite side? Like, what's your side?
Yeah, the mashed potatoes, easy, and then close second is the stovetop stuffing. Got to get the fake stuff. Don't give me the real stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the real stuff, but stovetop, they perfected it.
I remember when we used to live together, you would sometimes just randomly get that stuff, and it is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
You can make it anytime.
You know what a favorite of mine is, and I shout out my wife on this one. I was never a cranberry sauce guy, ever. And she made it with like the skins in there, and she put orange juice. And there's something about that is awesome, and it's good. I never liked it growing up, but now it's one of my favorites. So Hope you all, if you're driving to your family's house right now, you guys are getting ready to hang out with your family. Listen to this on your way. And thank you. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I'm curious what other people's favorite foods are. Send us a tweet. Write us in.
I think they should be. I think they should be playing it like over their stereo during Thanksgiving dinner. Is what I think. It's the perfect
as we
family.
Offend everybody.
It's the perfect family show here.
Who doesn't want to hear us talk about Pauly Shore during the Thanksgiving dinner?
I mean, maybe you're a son-in-law and you're bringing it in because we're talking about son-in-law coming out July 2nd, 1993. Did you watch this in the theater or on VHS?
I did not. I saw it after the fact.
Maybe
after the fact, for sure.
Yeah. Runtime 1 hour 35 minutes, just right.
Just right.
Although I have problems with the utilization of the just right runtime. We'll get
so you would say
later.
too low?
No, I'd say misallocation of the proper time.
Yeah.
Genre, comedy / Thanksgiving. One of the very rare Thanksgiving movies, if you even want to call it a Thanksgiving movie. We're kind of stretching, but it's fine. Directed by Steve Rash. Don't call me Kevin Nash. Steve Nash, by the way. Two of my favorite 90s movies, like not favorite, but like dumb, nostalgic things. One is Eddie. You remember Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg?
Which one's Eddie?
Where she owns the Knicks.
Oh,
or coaches the Knicks. I forget if it's owner or coach.
I've only seen that a couple times, but I know what you're talking about.
He did that, and he did Held Up, the one where Jamie Foxx is a hostage at a gas station. Very funny movie, but like it's one of those HBO movies that's on 100 times, and it's not good. But it's like you watch it endlessly, just like Bait. Like Nothing to Lose, Martin Lawrence, those types of movies.
I'm not familiar with this guy's filmography here. This is like probably my first movie that I've seen by his, besides the two that you mentioned.
And he did American Pie Presents Bandcamp, which was the first Fugazi American Pie movie, the Bobo American Pie.
I'm American Pie guy, but I have not seen that one.
So yeah, I watched it out of curiosity because it was like the first one that wasn't real, and I was like, "Yeah, this stinks."
It is totally VHS.
Yeah. Where's Jim? Where's Stifler? They're not here.
Direct to DVD. No, you get like Stifler's brother pretending he's cool.
Yeah, I get that.
This was released under Hollywood Pictures too, which is a Disney movie. They don't look. I'm not going to bust out the old man saying here, but they don't make them like this anymore, do they?
No,
they really
don't. They really don't. And speaking of Disney films, like the writer of this movie goes by a name of, I forget his name. What was it? Patrick Clifton. You know what he wrote directly after this movie?
No.
Well known to you and I, Summertime Switch.
Oh my God.
That direct-to-Disney movie starring Sean Hunter.
Dude,
where
I love that movie.
The preppy kid switches with the basketball player and like they switch lives. So
I think if you guys out there are interested in these, I would like to do some of these lesser known movies like those, like Summertime Switch. There's a couple others like Smart House. Brink is another one that I remember. They're all on Disney Plus right now, I believe.
Is Summertime Switch on Disney Plus?
It might be. It might be awesome. But I want to do some of those movies, and maybe we just do an on-demand episode or whatever we're calling them these days, where we just kind of talk about some of them. But I would love to talk about some of those lesser-known movies. And even we joked about the Philadelphia garbage-kicking Philadelphia Eagle Tony Danza movie. I'd like to do that too.
Yeah. Paper Brigade is another one, like one of those 90s. If you were like between the ages of 8 and 12 in the mid-90s, it's like those are the movies you remember, even though I don't even know if it was in theaters, but whatever. So anyway, Son-in-Law, IMDb 5.8 out of 10.
Too low.
Way too low. This is at least a 7+ movie.
Too low.
Rotten Tomato 21%. Do that many people hate Pauly Shore?
Unfortunately.
Is it him? It must be him, right? Because it's a
way
good movie.
Low. Way too low.
Metacritic 33%.
Too low.
Letterboxd 2.8 out of 5. Too damn low.
Too damn low.
It's a solid 3.1.
This is a good movie. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't like this movie, you weren't around in the 90s. You're looking at it now as it's crappy, but in 1993, this was a good movie. I'm sorry. It was fun and it was dumb, but it was great.
Yeah. Country girl Rebecca, played by Carla Gugino, has spent most of her life in a farm in South Dakota. And when she goes away to college in Los Angeles, Rebecca immediately feels out of place in the daunting urban setting. She is befriended by a savvy party animal named Crawl, played by Pauly Shore, who convinces the ambivalent Rebecca to stay in the city. When Thanksgiving break rolls around, Rebecca, no longer an innocent farm girl, invites Crawl back to South Dakota where he pretends to be her fiancé. We are.
I think it's funny because they make it seem like she's, quote, in the city. The only scenes that we see of her in the city was getting the tattoo and like being on the beach. Other than that, she's in the dorm. Like, would she have had this experience in any college that she went to that wasn't in the middle of nowhere? Because I think she would.
Like, these places exist in any college downtown area. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Los Angeles.
Yeah. Send her to State College, Pennsylvania, and I feel like she's going to have the same.
You're going to have the same, like, main streets that have these kinds of tattoo parlors and bars and dives and all that. Sure.
She's not on a farm, right? I mean, that's it. And it's like they made it seem like she's in New York City or like Manhattan. Like it's a completely different scenario than this.
Right.
I was only able to find one tagline on this, and I think you're going to have no problems with this, but I think it's a good one. It's son-in-law. He's a relative nightmare.
That's perfect.
It's a
no
pun.
Need for more.
It's perfect. It's a pun.
Short.
It's
short.
accurate. It's just good. It's just a great one.
I'll allow it.
Budget. I don't know if this is high or low, but it was $8 million back in '93, and I couldn't find the worldwide gross. They only gave me the U.S. and Canada, but it was 36.4, which is modest success, right? You want to triple your budget or something?
Yeah, it's a simple comedy, and modest returns, but successful.
It wasn't a huge success, but I think it was good for what it was. And this was a year after Encino Man, which we also did. So go check that out. Put it in the show notes. I think that was '92. It didn't win an award, but it was nominated for the prestigious MTV Movie and TV Awards in '94. Of
course.
Pauly Shore was nominated for Best Comedic Performance, and he went up against some heavy hitters here. So I don't know how you're going to ever... He's not going to win against these, but I'll tell you some of the other ones. It was Jim Carrey in a little-known movie called Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which was a phenomenon.
One of my all-time favorites.
Johnny Depp for Benny and June. Son-in-law for Pauly Shore for Son-in-Law. Whoopi Goldberg, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. Underrated sequel there. But it lost to Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire.
There he goes.
Which, I mean, come on.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do about that? You can't do anything about that.
You can't. I mean, you can't. It's just a hard one. So, which I still want to do that on this show sometime. I love that movie.
But you have to give Pauly Shore credit for just going all out in this movie and being full on Pauly Shore. It rivaled Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura, where it's like he wasn't better than Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura, but like he had the same amount of like go for it, right? Like he was fully Pauly Shore in this movie. He
did not reserve any situation. He went all in, like you said, and I loved it. I'm here for it. As we mentioned, this is the triumphant return of Pauly Shore to our show, but also the triumphant return of Lane Smith, aka one Coach Jack Riley.
Coach Jack Riley.
And also Theo, the farmhand, who was the angry biker patron in Sidekicks, which is, I think, our episode 55 for us, who I think his name was Hank, but you could call him Henry, and he roughed up Mr. Lee's Chinese joint, I think.
Yeah. I mean, those are classic, those guys from those things. So, I mean, we always like to shout those out. So there you go.
We've never done a Carla Gugino movie. Entourage, right? Unless was she in the movie? I don't recall.
I feel like she had a cameo in it at least.
She must have. But other than that, I don't think we've had a lot of other people here from this movie. So
no.
We'll get into some of these guys later, but I think maybe we need to start with, this girl, small town, you mentioned she's on a farm and then she goes off to college. Let's talk a little bit about the college experience, Badway. Do you feel like whatever school she went to, I don't know that they named it, is this an accurate picture of college?
Well, I don't know. First of all, when you say college, I immediately want to say it college, like Sean Hunter. I always think of it college.
I'm going to go to college.
So here's the thing. I went to college for 4 years, but I never lived in a dorm like you did, right? But you went to college in the mid to late 2000s, right? I feel like maybe it was more likely to be Party Central in the 80s and 90s than it was in the further 2000s. Would you agree with that? Or
I do, because computers, like he had a computer in his dorm here. He had with the cool screensaver that had his name on it and all that stuff. I mean, he had some technology, but were people playing like Super Nintendo back in this day? Like, were they playing Nintendo 1? Like, I don't know, but probably you're young. You don't have that kind of money to be like putting that in your college dorm. Like, I think there was probably less, and this is me speaking out of my no experience, but there's probably less to do when it came to like connectedness. So you're going to have parties, you're going to hang out in dorm rooms. It's very different, right?
Yeah, it was a lot easier, I imagine, to be social back in the 90s. I know for a fact myself in the 90s as a kid was more likely to go outside and play with people than to sit in my house all day, right? So I imagine if you upgrade that to, 20-somethings and teenagers and, college life, I'm sure there's a lot more of just natural mingling and just, we got nothing better to do. Let's go drink and have a party. Versus you have more options in the late 2000s. Not that you didn't drink or I didn't drink or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the only thing to do,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and how often would your RA be throwing the party too? Like
exactly.
your RA threw the party. Was that a norm back then? Or the RA
Probably
is always
not.
like an uptight somebody to me in my head. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be enforcing the rules.
Yeah. And maybe not uptight, but it's probably somewhere in the middle of like, we're not going to blatantly, the RA is more likely to turn a blind eye rather than to like encourage the parties. You know what I mean?
The instigator and organizer of the party, which is the other question I have too. You talk about 90s college. So they had, there was a phone in my room, I believe, when I was in college. Like you could have like a phone, like it was there. It was like a wall phone, right? But we had cell phones at this time. Back in 93, they had the pay phone in the dorm. Like is it your responsibility to answer that if you're walking by?
Yes.
Like I remember watching Saved by the Bell the college years, and I think they also had a phone, but like she had her boyfriend, she calls, they call that. Like, do you give that number as your phone? And like, is that what people call? Like, would you answer the phone?
How else are you getting in touch with people? You have to give them that number. And I feel like if you're walking across the hallway, like there's an understanding and that if you live there, that if you're walking by and that phone rings, you got to answer it, right? Hey, I'm calling for Julie at room 408. It's like, it's your responsibility to go bang on Julie's door. If she's not home, write a little message on her door that, hey, Jack called for Julie at room 408.
It's just funny to me because like, does that mean that you inherently have to know everybody on your floor, or you wind up getting to know them because of that?
Maybe so. Or maybe like you can just go by, the person calling has to know to say, hey, I'm calling for Julie. She's in room 408. I'm calling for Rebecca. She's in 202. So you can write the message on 202's door.
I need to know this. Like, if you guys are out here and you went to college in the 90s, is this how it worked? Because I don't know why I assumed that everyone had a phone in the room.
Don't act like before cell phones, like these were cavemen. I mean, this isn't Linkovich-Javowski.
No, but I'm saying there's room. There's like, I thought that there would be an actual phone in your room, like a hotel. Like they've had phones.
What's the college made of money? Come on now.
No, like a hookup, right? Like the phone room. Like imagine you're in an emergency or something. Like I'm 90% sure. Like I had a cell phone in college, but I know I also had a wall phone too. Like I need to know how this works.
We didn't all go to fancy schools like Harvard, like you did. So sorry.
Let's talk a little bit about Rebecca. Like who was she? You set this up in the intro, but like tell us a little bit about her, Carla Gugino's character.
She was a nice young farm girl, Drew. Set to go to school in the big city. Dad didn't want her to go. There's a lot of crazies out there, Drew. You better stay here on the farm where it's safe. Maybe go to South Dakota State where you can get your agricultural degree, this and that. But no, she was ready for a new life, new experiences. Very nice girl. Listened to her parents. Going off to California and just see what life has to offer.
Well, she was also valedictorian. What did you think of her speech? I don't know about that.
Not impressive. I mean, her high school was like a class of 30 people, it seemed. So if you're the smartest person among 30 people, how smart are you? Come on. Yeah, man. Like
I didn't think it was very good.
My high school class had 630 or so people, and I think I was student number 150 or so.
Of the 600.
I don't know. I don't do the math, but I think that's more impressive than being number 1 out of 30. I don't know.
But what if you're so good? What if you're so good?
And I didn't even try that hard.
I agree with you. And she went away to this school. They never said what she studied. I don't know. I don't know why I want to feel like she studied writing or something. Like she looked like she was going to be like an English major or something. Don't you?
I don't know. I felt like she was going for some kind of engineering degree or something. I don't know.
Business? I don't know.
No, I don't think she's a businesswoman. I think she's maybe engineering or some kind of, degree that a very smart person would pursue.
What did you think of her transformation? Because this is like, what is it, 6 weeks and she becomes an MTV VJ? Like, I don't know like what this was.
Yeah.
I mean, or is it so obvious that anyone that comes from a small town in this time of year, or sorry, in the time of the 90s, like you're sort of bound to become the MTV VJ. Is it like predetermined for you? You're going to go and do this?
Yeah, I think it's real easy to like embrace the new life once you're experienced to it. Once you're willing to let go. And I think this movie did a pretty good job of like showing that, where she wasn't ready to like let go of her home life until a character like Pauly Shore gave her a real life talk and said, "Hey, listen, you moved out here, but you didn't really move away. Your heart's still in, you're not letting yourself experience the new life. You're just sitting in your room and wallowing and just being pissed off about what you're missing instead of what you're currently experiencing." Great lesson for a Pauly Shore movie. What'd you say?
He's wise.
Yeah.
He's a wise man.
Wise beyond his years. I mean, he is like 37 years old, so I mean, he's been around, so he knows.
AKA Van Wilder, right?
Yeah.
He's the Van Wilder, pre-Van Wilder prequel there. What did you think of her actual transformation, though?
Yeah. So she did like the whole thing. Like you said, she turned into an MTV VJ overnight, basically. Cut her hair, dyed it blonde, might as well have dyed it blue or purple, same difference. Throws her old foreign clothes away, her Sarah Plain and Tall clothes, they're gone. In comes these, like, they're not like, I don't know, how do you describe them? They're not like inappropriate dressings, but they're just like, just wildly modern for the era, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she did wear like a bustier at one point.
Yeah.
Like it was like a bikini top to her family's house. And she's like, do you like?
You
like, that's a little awkward. Yeah. That's a little weird. Yeah. But you're right. No, it was more fashionable. And she went shopping with him too, right?
Yep. Went shopping with him. Got the tattoo. It's like the classic thing that you do to rebel when you leave home, right? I feel like I've seen it all the time.
What about the whole mud wrestling thing? Like, do you think she would have been like wildly out of place there? It seemed like how realistic do you think the transformation is? Because she was super timid, and I agree with everything that you said about all the stuff that she did, but she fully embraced it. And it was like, I couldn't tell whether she was into Pauly Shore. She still liked her boyfriend back at home. Pauly Shore it seemed like a true platonic friendship in a way. Like they were on beach doing babe watching and all this crap, right? Whatever they were doing out there.
Yeah.
Do you think that the period of time was realistic? Like she flipped a switch.
No, I think so. I feel like it kind of was, because the last straw was Halloween, where she was ready to leave school. And Pauly was like, listen, you can't do that, dude. You can't do that, bro. You have to experience life. And she's like, and he was right. So she had to throw herself into this new persona to see if it worked for her. If she did all these things and she still felt the way she felt originally, then she knows that this isn't for me.
Yeah.
But since she didn't even try it yet, this was her trying it. I think after 3 months, she realized, hey, this is a lot of fun. This is stuff I never thought I would have done. I need to keep experiencing new things. It's not that she was going to stay the way she is. It's that she understands that, all right, life is about new experiences.
That's when you get shut out for so long and you never do this, then it's almost like the people that don't have candy ever their whole life. And then when they finally taste candy, they just like become like obsessed with it or something, right?
Yeah. Like when you go to the mud wrestling bar that you never knew such a thing existed. You're like, holy crap, this is awesome.
It's like a circus.
What else is there in life? Yeah. It's almost like Encino Man Part 2, right?
It was.
Where like she doesn't even like know anything. And like Pauly Shore's just introducing her to these things that go on in the city. And she's like, oh shit, we get more of this.
I mean, speaking of that, like they had a literal Encino Man cameo. Like, did you like that? I don't know if that was too on the nose there.
No, I'm a fan of that stuff. It's, they didn't linger on it. They didn't try to weave it like, oh, Pauly Shore's, his old character from Encino Man. No, it was kind of like a here and gone on a Halloween party type of thing. I'm all for it.
It would have been funny if they played this as an Encino Man sequel, like he goes away to college and then he becomes, the RA. It'd be a good way to tie it together.
I would have watched it twice. Yeah. I would have watched it in the theater twice if they would have.
It would be funny.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned Crawl, aka Pauly Shore, aka Van Wilder. Talk about Pauly Shore here for a second. We've done another, speaking of Encino Man, we've done Encino Man back. I forgot what episode it was, but go check it out. I'll put it in the show notes as I mentioned. I think, dude, we talked about this a little bit then, but do we need to give Pauly Shore more respect? as a society here.
Give the man his flowers. He should have been in more movies, man.
What's with the hate?
Can we call him a good actor?
Yes.
I think we can, right? He's not just a gimmick. We should. I take it back immediately. Yes, he is a gimmick. But like you can't just put him in Saving Private Ryan, right? Like that you can't do.
That's too much. You went too hard.
For like as goofy as his shtick is like he's also a decent dramatic actor when like the scenes call for it, right?
I liked him in this. I think he's good. I'm sorry.
I suppose you have to like. You might have a hard stance one way or the other if you like his shtick or not. Like some people are like turned off to a guy like Jack Black, for example.
Yeah, that's a good
guys
comparison.
That have like these large personalities where it's like, I hate Jack Black. I hate when he does the Jack Black thing. Or there's people that will love anything Jack Black does. Will Ferrell's another one.
Polarizing.
Yeah, polarizing. And Pauly Shore is certainly that. But we have to admit here that he actually can act. It's not just him doing the weasel thing. Like he actually has some chops here, especially in his facial expressions, right?
Totally. And like, I don't know how you could make this movie with anybody else. Like the only other person you could do it with is probably Jack Black. Like you get like this weird, like a fish out of water scenario, but this movie doesn't exist without Pauly Shore. And I think a lot of them don't.
And it's funny is he's a fish out of water everywhere because he doesn't belong. And he belongs in the 60s probably, really. Yeah. It's like he doesn't belong anywhere in any movie he's at. And that kind of what makes him stand out and kind of like be like this. I don't know. It's almost like he's like somebody drew a highlighter on him, like wherever he is and whatever scene of the movie he's on.
He's a very Austin Powers-esque character to your point. And I think, so what do you think of him as a leading man? Because in Encino Man, he was a supporting character. He's in the army now. What was the other one? Jury Duty was the other one that he's in. There's like a bunch of these movies. We definitely should do more. But did you feel like he carried the movie as a leading man versus a supporting actor like he did in Encino Man?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Biodome, don't forget about Biodome.
Yeah, Biodome. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, so he was fine as the side character to freaking Rudy in Encino Man for sure. But this proved that he could lead the movie, and I don't know if it came before or after in the army now, but like I feel like this proves that this kind of proved that he could go out on his own and be the lead. He was the lead in the army now. He was the lead in Jury Duty and Biodome. Like those weren't monstrously successful movies. But they, for him to get 3 more leading role movies after this one proved how good he was in this.
I think you nailed it. I think Jack Black is a very good comparison to somebody that came after, where it's a very polarizing. Like I know people that hate Jack Black. I like him, but I could see where it's grating, and I think Pauly Shore's a perfect one. But so what do you think of him as an RA? Like he was at the school for 6 years. Like I guess I've seen RAs that are grad students. But typically they're not, like we said earlier, not leading the party and organizing the party.
Right.
Like, wouldn't you get fired? Like, what is
as long as like you clean it up when the right people or the wrong people come along, then you're good, right? As long as you don't set the place on fire and people aren't getting underage drinking violations, you're good, right?
That place was the kind of party that burns that place down,
dude. I gotta say, like, I mean, I could take a party or leave a party just as easily, right? Like, I'm a very like isolated type of person a lot of times. I like my peace and quiet, but I could party every once in a while too. It would be my nightmare to live in that floor, man. I gotta tell you, man,
because you just want to be away from
all the doors open, like constant party, right? It's like that's too much party. Let me come to the party. Don't bring the party to me, all right?
The party exists where you are,
because I want to be able to exit the party when I feel like it.
Oh,
not like go to my room and the party's up in my roommate's part of the room.
Well, like Carla Gugino, right? She goes into the place and then like they bust it up. She's like, sorry, it just kind of happened. Like that's, I'm a relatively extroverted person for the most part, right? I recharge around people and whatnot. But even that is my nightmare too. Like that's my nightmare too.
We're the opposite, and this is both not an ideal situation.
Yeah, I don't want that. I really don't want that. What about, so he's an RA and he's got his own room. Like that's one of the perks of being an RA. You get free room and board, I believe, and you got the room to yourself. You don't have a roommate. So he's got this room. And like, I like when Coach Riley walks in.
I would do that job, by the way, free room and board. Like that's a good deal. That's a sweet deal.
I think that's part of it, right? Like I'm pretty sure that you get free room and board, but you have a job. Like you gotta make sure you're responsible.
And your own room. You don't, like sometimes it sucks to have a roommate. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it sucks.
Especially in the small rooms like that.
Yeah.
but he's got a pretty sweet room. Like, did you see all the stuff that he had in there? Like,
yeah.
What did he have? What did
he
you
didn't even have a
notice?
bed. Like, was his bed that cot?
I thought he was sleeping like a bat, like hanging upside down, naked and nude.
Well, that too, but like he had that hammock.
Yeah,
and that was like his bed.
That's a very much a Pauly Shore sleeping scenario.
No, but totally like a stoner's. It's like a stoner's room. It was very, very awesome. I gotta tell you though, like, I feel like I need to get one of those hang upside down things for my back. Like, I feel like guy must have a great back if he's just hanging upside down every day sleeping.
I don't think I could. You know what would be pathetic? Me trying to actually get on it. Like, how do you
get off of it? Or get off.
Getting off, there's
Imagine
no way.
Getting stuck. You get stuck, you just yelling, help!
I don't have the ab strength.
How pathetic.
Well, remember my dad used to have one of those inversion tables, and I didn't appreciate it when I was younger, but now that I'm, 30s, like my back sucks, and it's like I want to use that again. I want to use that thing.
Yeah, well, I want to go down to your dad's basement again and use it for sure. If it's still there.
It probably is. What about, I know it's not his room, but it was Rebecca's room. Did you notice in her room, she had a picture of Mel Gibson on her wall? And I don't know why that's weird to me. Like, it's weird that Mel Gibson as a sex symbol, like you talk about, you don't want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger like kissing people.
Ugh.
Mel Gibson as a sex symbol, he perpetually looks like he's 50 years old to me.
That's the thing though. I mean, I don't want to speak for all young women, right? Because I'm clearly not a young woman. But let me just generalize this for all you ladies out there. I feel like women are more likely to be turned on by the silver fox, right?
Okay.
Like the ruggedly handsome, older, mature, sexy gentleman. Like Mel Gibson, who typically plays a bad boy or a badass. Doesn't matter that he's 40, right? You could be an 18-year-old girl and find the 40-year-old man super sexy, right? Because it's he's mature and he'll save you and he'll protect you and he'll make you safe. It doesn't work the other way around. Like in our era, like we didn't like Suzanne Summers as a sex symbol because she was older for us. Like if Suzanne Summers back in the 70s, oh my God, like guys would go crazy for her. But it's not like we had pictures of Suzanne Summers up on our wall. It's more like Carmen Electra and Pamela Anderson, right?
But what about now? Like, are you into the older woman? Like, would you fall for like the older woman now, like a Carla Gugino now, right? She's like, of course, older,
because we're kind of the same age. Not really the same age, but like, yeah. Once you pass 30, age becomes almost irrelevant. I feel,
but maybe
like above, not below, above.
Maybe it's just a weird thing for me and Mel Gibson. Who Mel Gibson is, like, forget all of the stuff, the voicemails and everything that he did, and
all the racist
stuff,
and
it's just like he in particular is just a weird guy to me. And like I can see an older George Clooney being a sex symbol because I can see that, right? Because he's like more like a put together guy. Just Mel Gibson is like a weird dude.
Women find Mel Gibson attractive, even though he might not seem that way to you. They, especially in the 90s.
What's the movie that he did that was it What Women Want or something? Like
the one with the mind reading?
Yeah, we should do that movie.
Yeah, What Women Want. Can't. That might be problematic, but we can try it.
If we can't do 50 Shades Darker or whatever, maybe we can't. Maybe we can't. 50 Shades Free. Maybe we can't do that. I don't know. I don't know. What about Pauly Shore lingo? We talked about this on the episode with Encino Man. Do you think he introduced any new words here? Because I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan. You need like a dictionary or some type of translation guide, like a language dictionary to understand what the hell he's talking about.
Right. Like I feel like, there was a lot of crossover. There were some new words, but like it's hard because he talks so fast. It's like, it's hard to like keep up sometimes with what he's saying, but he was big on the nugs and the cones. And the melons. Big on that.
Wood. A lot of wood.
Big on the wood.
It's a lot of wood.
You likes? I don't likes. You likes? I likes. Charisma. He had that line about charisma that he was trying to like hit on girls with.
He toned it down a little bit, I feel, but I liked the better part of his lingo in this to me was him and Lane Smith, Coach Riley from Mighty Ducks, like the dad. I loved the dynamic between him and Pauly Shore and the farmhand Theo, like the way that he was talking, because he might have toned it down, but because he was fish out of water and he's in the middle of South Dakota as opposed to like Encino, California, it totally was out of whack. Like and the square dancing thing that you heard in the beginning, like it was so ridiculous that I love that they dialed it up. It was great to me.
And another thing I want to point out about this character is that like when they first introduce him and like he meets Carla's dad, and he kind of seems like a creep, right? Or like, oh man, this guy's a womanizer. Like he's the father of a daughter's worst nightmare, right? But he's actually like a really sweet guy the entire way through this movie.
He is. He's a good dude.
He was never a creep. He's like, yeah, he might be a horn dog, but he's a like, how do I put this? He's a respectful horn dog. He will ask. He will not pester. If you tell him no, he'll go away.
He's no Travis here, put it that way.
Right.
He's no Travis. But you're right. No, I get what you mean. He's a respectful horn dog. Like he's open about what he wants, but he doesn't take it. He asks.
And when he took Rebecca out, Carla, he called Carla Gugino. Rebecca, her name's Rebecca in the movie. I don't know if we ever said that. It was always as a platonic friend.
Yeah.
And it was always like he was just very genuinely trying to show to her, don't quit college. You didn't even try college yet. So I appreciated that aspect of his character because it's kind of like portrayed as a sleazy womanizer, but on the surface, like it really is like his character is very nice and very sweet.
Yeah.
And I like how that like it was almost like became easy for the family to like him once they got to know him.
Well, he's charismatic, as you said. I think that's the perfect word. He has charisma. And I think maybe that's a good segue into this because we talk about Thanksgiving and where her family is, but the reality is she brought a stranger home to Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes, we got to talk about this for a second.
Like, is that a violation? Well, first off, forget the violation because maybe it's not a violation, but could you ever do that? Like, imagine your family, like you go to Thanksgiving. Could you bring a stranger there? And what grounds would it take for you to actually go and do that?
I mean, I'd really have to know the person like for more than really 3 weeks, right? This is the timeline we're talking about.
Yeah.
She really like got to know Pauly on Halloween, right?
Yep.
And then Thanksgiving is just 3 weeks later. So within those 3 weeks, she's taken this poor guy. And yeah, it's sad. If he's got nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, sucks for him, sure. But he's like, you don't really know him. And you know that he's such like the opposite of your family that like, is the possibility for wrecking Thanksgiving a thing?
Yes, it's very high.
Right?
You're taking a risk on an unknown of who is this dude. He is kind of weird. I know he's like a sweet guy, like you said, but he is kind of weird.
But like if it took you a while to like get like understand him, right? She was probably freaked out by him until she actually had a conversation with him. Imagine her uptight father or like her buttoned up mother, you know, or her traditional grandfather.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. But there was like a weird dynamic though, because she was even tone deaf to how her appearance and her new behavior was when she went home. Like she got off the plane and she was just kind of like showing her hair, showing her things. And like, she didn't think for a second that they would even feel like what the hell happened to her. And that was a little odd. So I guess maybe it is in character for her to not also think that bringing this weird dude home was going to be weird. And like she had been talking to her not fiance, but her boyfriend, Travis at the time, thinking like, hey, who the hell is this guy? You're bringing some random guy with you.
That's
like,
the other thing.
Plane.
Yeah.
The dynamic of the relationship.
You're in a relationship and you're bringing a dude back home to like
from college
with you from college. I mean, Travis has every right to be like furious about the situation.
That's a threat.
She didn't have the proper conversation, which we'll get around to the fact that Rebecca was a coward this entire movie.
Yes.
About not being upfront about her feelings with a boyfriend.
Man, there's so much to talk about in this, and I know we only have so much time to talk about it, but maybe we'll jump around a little bit here because he comes home for Thanksgiving. We can talk about this. I personally, I don't know that I would bring someone random for Thanksgiving. Like you bring a friend or somebody that you know, that you trust.
Yeah.
But like to bring some random guy, I know you feel bad for him. I mean, she's a good person, I guess.
No, but here's the thing. I would bring a random person home, like if it was my college roommate.
Sure.
And they had nowhere to go. And they were like, kind of quiet, reserved, quote unquote normal person. But this is a wild card you're bringing back home.
It could go wildly bad.
Use some judgment. I probably wouldn't bring this person home, even though he's a real nice guy.
The chances of this going south are very high. And she's lucky that it didn't.
Yeah. And if you're bringing him home to a place where they were skeptical to even like bring you to college in the first place. These farm people don't know the city life. But maybe let the guy eat his hungry man. You know,
I want to talk about the family so bad, but I also want to talk about them being won over by Pauly. Maybe we can combine it because like he won them over, didn't he? I mean, he comes in as like, who the hell is this guy? This guy's a weirdo. Like he instantly bonds with the brother over like computer hacking. He instantly bonds with them over Playboys and Hustler magazines or whatever, right?
Nugs and cones.
The dad is like completely like, who the hell is this guy? Like he says he broke into his daughter. What does he say? He opened his daughter's trunk.
I popped your daughter's trunk, bro.
Right after he met him, and the dad is just like, I mean, the actor is great. Like Coach Riley did a great job.
The best is when they got out of the car and got into the house. He handed the dad the video camera so he could film him humping the ground. Like, sorry, I got a little excited. New place.
It's like
this is the guy you brought home.
He doesn't know what, like, he's so taken aback by this guy. He doesn't know whether to be offended or impressed.
He was incredulous. Like he was like, yeah, you didn't know what to do.
He's speechless.
Yeah, he's speechless. He's not angry. He's just confused. Like, what is this person?
Yeah, not even who is this guy? Like, what is this person?
What is this person?
Like, what is this guy? Like, and is Pauly's so like, and they show the picture of him in the beginning. He was like a law major or something. Like he was all buttoned up. He had the short hair and everything, and he completely went off the rails. Like, so he had to win these guys over, right? He had to win the family over. We'll talk a little bit about the relationship in a second, but like, do you think he did a good job of it? Like, how did he handle what they threw at him?
Well, the thing he never did was conform, you know?
Which I liked.
He always was going to be himself. He was trying. He wasn't quitting, and he was trying hard. But I like that he like decided to succeed at farming in his own way. Something I can never do.
Could you be a farmer? Well, let's talk maybe about some of the stuff that he did.
Absolutely not. Like,
he had to, like, what is the list? Right? He had to feed the bulls, I guess, or and do something with
bulls,
a bull, the
the
cow,
and
then the
whatever
bull.
The
there was something with a bull. He fed the pigs like with a slop meal. He was milking cows. He was scooping poop.
What?
Like he didn't have to do that much, did he?
What is slop?
Is
there's like lettuce in there, and there's like breadcrumbs and sandwiches,
put, like, bread.
Like what is that? Like how expensive is slop?
I'm always under the impression
it's like making like,
stuff you don't want to eat.
Yeah, but it's almost like there's like a nice salad in there, but like all mixed together. There's like salad and sandwiches mixed together.
Pieces of white bread.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, but they slopped it up. They made it ugly for the pig. But really, yeah, they
slop it up, boys.
I didn't mean it like that, but you're right. But like, it's almost like they took two good things, sandwiches and salads, and made it look disgusting for the pigs. Like it kind of looks like a nice meal slopped up on purpose.
The pigs won't eat it if it looks too nice. It has to look like shit.
Like you wouldn't see a pig at a dinner table, so you got to slop it up for them so they'll eat it.
Living for New Year's Eve, those pigs, man. That's what they do. I don't get it either. And like I thought that there was maybe like, I mean, I guess they wanted to put grain in there, like an organic diet. Like that guy was putting pieces of bread in there.
Yeah, like it seemed like nice ingredients, like all like slushed together with like dirt. I don't know what the hell pigs eat.
What would you do if a cow pissed on your head? Like, would you instantly throw up?
I'd throw up's not the word. I'd probably go find a cliff and just just walk. I'd walk off it. I wouldn't even jump off. Like,
how long would you last? I mean, trying to do for real. How long would you last trying to do these jobs?
2 hours max. I'd be done. Like
you couldn't even try. Like, what if you wanted to do it to prove them wrong?
No, I don't have convictions like that. Like, no, I'd be like, you're right. You're right. I suck at this. Not for me.
What about killing the turkey? Could you do that?
No, absolutely not. No way.
I'm never gonna kill a turkey.
I'm never gonna hunt an animal. Like, I love meat. I'll take a steak right now, bloody. Don't even cook it. Just slap it on and I'll eat it raw. It's not about the cruelty for me. I don't care about that. It's about I'd rather just eat it and not see how it's made.
You know what the thing that impressed me the most about Pauly Shore was his combine driving skills. Like he went in that thing and he drove it so well that he wrote his name in like a crop circle.
Yeah.
And that was it to him. Like he knew exactly how to drive that thing. It's like operating a crane in like Manhattan without having any skills.
He's like a savant. Yeah.
There's levers and buttons and things. Like, how the hell did he know what he was doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's an idiot savant, you know? It's kind of like what you call it? It's kind of like Rain Man playing blackjack. Just put him in there and he gets it.
The other thing he's a savant at is like rekindling relationships. Like, did you think it was a violation that he was like trying to sex up the mom and the dad?
Listen.
He had a job to do.
Everyone knew that she could do a little better.
Yeah.
That there was a secret in there, right? That she was hiding.
She stopped trying.
She was hiding a secret, and we gotta let the secret out that she's got the goods, right?
She said, "What's the point?" Because the dad didn't care.
The best acting job of the whole movie was when the mom, all dolled up, walked into the square dance, and Coach Riley just like the look on his face where he's like, "Whoa!"
And the other dude hits on her instantly.
Yeah, he's like, "Get out of here, jerk!" Yeah.
Get out!
And she's like, "You don't like it, do you?" And he's like, Oh no, I like it. I think I really like it.
The whole it was so creepy, and then they were like not even overtly like hiding the fact that they were like about to just go bang, right? I mean, it was like a thing, and then even the girl, the girl asked her mom the next morning, like, "Oh, so you got busy last night?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm not having that conversation."
Okay, like so here's the thing, like guys will never ask dad, like, "Hey, dad, did you get it on with mom last night?" Like that would never happen, right? Never happen.
That is
do women do that? Do daughters ask their mothers that question?
It's the level of appropriateness.
Because I don't think so. It's inna. Yeah.
That's how much it is. It's bring it back, because
nobody wants
I would
to
never
hear that.
Would you?
Yeah, no. Like, is that a girl thing? Does a daughter ask a mother that? Because a guy would never ask a father that.
And I'm not saying that you need to be sexually repressed. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
No, it's just familial like relations. You don't want to know about it. Yeah, you don't talk about it. Yeah.
You know what? Go do your thing.
Unless you're the Fockers, it's like that's it. Like
yeah. I'm happy. Like, have a great, healthy relationship. I have no issue with it. But I don't want to talk about it.
Just like let's not. Yeah, let's not.
Let's not adjust and talk about the levels here.
No, but the mom needed to show out, and it was a great present that Pauly gave to her.
She brought her confidence back.
Yeah.
About the relationships, let's talk a little bit about maybe the main one in the movie, which is Carla Gugino, Rebecca, and Travis, which is the guy that she was dating in high school. She went off to college, and he stayed home doing something with business. I don't know what it was. It was something with the family business, or I forgot. They said it in the movie. I missed what it was.
Yeah.
Could this relationship work? And I mean, just in general, do you think high school relationships work if one person stays home and the other person goes off to college? Like, I think it takes a special relationship for that to work.
Yeah. And like this one had a chance just because she was so like set in her old life, right?
Yep.
Where, you know, if she found out that college wasn't for her, the big city wasn't for her, you know, you go to what's familiar with your high school sweetheart. She gets her degree. She comes back. She tends the farm. She does whatever she does with her degree. It's a possibility, right? But I think overall, like the gap, especially like where you're an airplane away, where you're a flight away from you're not like 2-3 hours away. You're a flight away from this person
and a payphone away.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal, right? Especially before email and texting and cell phones, right?
It's hard. I think it's hard.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah, especially if you're this girl and you take to liking the new experiences. Like as soon as she realized there's a life outside of the farm where like she could enjoy, she kind of like was out on the boyfriend, right? Like she was out on it.
It was an interesting angle to take though, because it was almost like he was out on her. She didn't hook up with anybody. I mean, she was admiring the other people. She was hanging out with Pauly Shore in like a platonic way, but I got the impression, right? And we'll talk about this in a second, but I got the impression he was hooking up with Kelly Kapowski on the side
he definitely was, but the movie's one flaw is they didn't fully like obviously show that.
Yeah.
But it was implied a few times. I think we both spoke about this pre-show that I feel like there might have been scenes deleted that maybe showed this more.
Yeah.
Of him cheating on her, right?
It was certainly implied. There was a couple lines, but where the movie fell flat, and I think you're right, is they didn't make you hate him enough.
Right.
Until the very end. And I think when this, stuff started to unfold a little bit, it started to get more. But like the other thing that I thought was interesting was Kelly Kapowski's character, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, I forgot her name. She and Carla Gugino's character, Rebecca, were good friends.
Yeah.
So
Tracy.
it was weird because she was the one that stayed home and Rebecca went off and did her own thing and Tracy's home. It was like a weird dynamic in that Tracy was in love with Travis, but like when she was going to get married or he was going to propose, like she didn't seem to have any issue with it. Right, it was weird. Like they could have played that dynamic more and they could have made it make Travis look worse too, even in the big blowout in the end when they were complaining about, he's a bad guy. He drugged me. It wasn't like he drugged me. Yeah, that's a major violation and highly inappropriate. However, he was also hooking up with you for the past 3 months, maybe even more than that. Who knows?
Cheating,
and she never called it out.
Cheating, knowing he was going to propose to this other girl. And yeah, I thought it was weird that the climax was only 15 minutes, this movie. Like it was, Carla comes home from college, doesn't want to marry the guy. They do the fake proposal thing with Pauly Shore. And then like goes along. They do the shtick with the farm thing. And all of a sudden there's 15 minutes left. And then finally, oh wait, Travis is actually a jerk and he's going to drug Pauly Shore and try to break them up in order to, like, it was too short a time. We should have seen other scenes of Travis being a dick and like knowing that there was a clear like villain or like opposition besides, because otherwise Travis kind of looks like a sympathetic figure and Carla seems like the jerk, right?
Yes. Yeah. And maybe that's a good segue into the proposal, right? Because he wanted to propose to her and that was his plan. And he was planning this whole thing. When she comes home, he's going to propose. There was this whole situation where he tried and she pushed him off, but then he put her in a situation at the country club where it was a public proposal. So a couple things. What do you think about public proposals?
Too risky.
I have another question, but what do you think about it? Like, would you...
Is it too bad? Risky.
Like as a guy, it's different, right? Because you're putting yourself out there, but you're also putting it on the girl too. You're making her react to something, and I feel like you better damn sure know that she's gonna say yes.
Your proposal better not be based on pressure, where it's like, well, she can't say no because there's a bunch of people here. Like that's starting your engagement off on the wrong foot, isn't it? But I mean, pressuring her like she can't say no.
I feel like the only way a public proposal would work is if you talked about, I want to get married to you. It is going to happen. I will propose to you at some point.
Yeah, whether it's got to be like understood that it's damn well going to happen, right?
Yeah, because I think it's sort of like a violation to put someone in that position. I feel personally, and so then what do you think about the way that she reacted the first time, like pushing him off? Should she have said something like then? Because it goes down a path where, I mean, they can't go back from this thing.
Yeah, so the most excruciating scene was definitely that barn scene when she didn't even let him ask the question. And that's like, imagine being the guy in that scenario. That's brutal.
I mean, that's why I say, like, you better damn well know.
But you got to have that conversation. You can't just like hit the pause button on it and like leave it hanging, because he's gonna ask again. Even though he should read the room also. But no, you have to make it clear there. And she was too cowardly this entire movie to tell the truth about her feelings.
I think, and so then in the ballroom and in the country club, she has Pauly Shore there, and she's got him as a. I mean, this is the whole premise. We have we're 50 minutes in. We talk, get to it finally, but
yeah.
Whatever, right? The movie itself, it's interesting because I feel like she put Pauly Shore in this position where he's a friend, right? But she makes him do something. Like, what do you think? What would you do in this situation? I mean, like, what was he supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, he's good at thinking on his feet, but like, he probably chose the wrong thing. But this is the type of thing where it would have been okay to like use the lie in that country club, but then not keep the lie going at home to her family, right?
I don't understand why she kept it going. Like, she could have easily said, hey, Dad, I know you don't like this guy. Don't worry. I'm not actually engaged to him. Like, I just said it because I wasn't sure about Travis.
You could just say, I felt really bad about letting Travis down. So like, I didn't know what to do and I panicked. Like and the dad would understand.
Any father would understand.
I'm sure that dad does not want her to be married at 18. So even though I'm sure he thinks Travis is a great boy, great, fine young man.
Fine young man.
Yeah.
I like how, and then instantly the way that the dad reacted too, where it's like they were so upset about Pauly Shore after he walked in looking very out of place.
And like imagine how offended you would be if you owned that farm and you're sitting there having that conversation with Pauly about how are you going to take care of my daughter? He goes, I don't know. You own this farm. I could do that. It's like,
I'll just take over the farm.
Oh yeah. You can do that. Imagine if I walked up to your job. Oh, what are you, IT? I could do that. No problem. Easy. What do you have? What do you have, a degree and 10 years of experience? Yeah, I could do that.
That's why I don't blame them for putting him through the ringer and trying to have him get tested, because I know damn well I could not be a farmer. There's no way in hell I could be a farmer. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. I mean, I could try, but I'd probably fail. It's not the life for me.
I couldn't even try. I'd quit after 2 hours. Say, nope, you're right. Not for me.
It's not the life for me. No way in hell. Yeah. I mean, I think that she kept the lie up for too long, and I think you're right. Like she should have just told them. She should have just told them. But we got to have a movie, I guess. So
yeah. Do you remember the show with Paris Hilton? What's that?
Oh, the one with her and what, the other person?
Nicole Sheridan,
something like
where
that.
Where they're on the farm. That's me.
Oh God, the farm life,
like,
or whatever.
People made fun of that show where it's like, oh, look at the stuck-up rich girl that can't handle farm life. No, that's me. I'm a pretty poor person myself. There's no way. There's no way I can handle the farm life.
People like that, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not pooing on it. It's just not for me.
So obviously it wasn't going to work out with Travis and her, but it's ultimately at the end, it seems like she is into Pauly Shore and they want to make it work. Do you think she was genuinely into him? I mean, I think they had more of a friend chemistry personally. Like, I don't know that this is going to work out. Like, do you think that they were actually going to work out? Or you don't want to disappoint the family?
It's the classic thing where they're fake engaged and then they're like, they maybe start to like think about the, what if this was real? And I think that definitely was felt through her when she found Pauly and Kelly Kapowski drugged in the barn. She was definitely shocked and hurt by it. And I think that's the first sign of her having feelings, right? So, and I think Pauly probably had a thing for her, but again, like the way his character is, he was very respectful and he didn't want to like broach into creep territory. So yeah, I think that feelings were developed, and I think that married, who knows? I mean, clearly too soon. They've known each other 3 weeks, too soon.
Too low.
But yeah, worth investigating once they get back to LA.
I'm curious. I don't know. I just don't see that it's going to last long term. I think they'll be good friends, but I think they're going to hook up once and then it's going to be weird and they're going to be like, probably not.
Yeah. But like, do you think it's a cheat code to like, he already did the thing of meeting her family and bonding with all of them? So it's like, that's a big thing that already happened. It's kind of like a cheat code to where it's like, it's almost like they've been together longer than they actually have now because like they fast forwarded that whole situation.
Yeah. Normally you wait to meet the family until you're sure. He met them ahead of time.
Yeah.
And it did fast. It is a cheat code.
And like they never kissed, like even like at the end or anything like that. Right. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's why I don't think they did. And that's why I was curious about whether there was actually a romantic connection. He said he was into her, but I think they could have easily just played this off as they didn't want to let the family down because he like the family liked him. Yeah. And they wanted him to be the son-in-law, to your point.
Like you said, like they could get back to LA, and they go on a date and, they try to hook up and it's like, it's kind of like brother, sister. This is weird.
It's weird.
And let's just be friends. That could very possibly happen. In fact, that's the most probable thing.
That's what I think would happen.
Yeah.
So,
especially since he's 26 and she's 18. So it's like a
weird
thing. Yeah.
I think before we talked a lot about this movie, but we got to just very quickly, let's throw Travis on the villain scale. If we're going to put Dusty Dinkleman on there, we're going to put like other, messed up boyfriends and things on there. I think we should just at least see how he rates because I think this dude's a scumbag supreme. And, we talked about Scumbucket and Scumbag.
Well,
he's a
hold
scumbag.
On now. He was just a standard cheater until he brought the drugs into the mix.
That's why I'm calling scumbag here. Yeah. And I think and the fact that he was cheating and he was trying to hook up with her, like this was the situation of Heartbreak Kid's situation with Cal.
In all fairness though, Kelly Kapowski.
Look, I have a lot to say about that.
In all fairness,
with you.
But on the other hand, Carla Gugino.
Kelly
So
Kapowski, there's
it's
no
like
competition.
it's like what's this guy? This guy is like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah,
this
that's
guy's stud of the year. What's going on here?
small town, and he
Yeah.
has the two most beautiful and amazing women
Yeah.
that he could have here. It's
going on here?
great. So let's put him in here. So if you guys are new to the show, we have a villain scale. We have 4 categories, 1 through 5: look, style, hideout layer, plan, and henchman. I'm just curious to see how Travis goes in here. I mean, just right off the bat, he's got a pretty good looking style. He wears his Letterman jacket.
Yep.
Just in his everyday life after graduation, which is a bully move. That
Yeah.
should have been the highlight and the proof right there that he was a cheater.
To be fair, it's he's 18/19. It's this first year out of it's you're allowed. You're allowed.
He likes the
especially if you
jacket.
if he's wearing that stuff in college, wrong. But like he's still in the hometown. So like I'll allow it. And he had sweet 90s hair too.
I was just gonna say he has a perfect bully scumbag boyfriend haircut.
Yeah.
Like, did you fall for this thinking he was a nice guy and they didn't know? Because I think the look and style plays a lot to do with that.
Sure.
Like if he was successful, he gets a higher score there, doesn't he?
He was good at playing the all shucks, for sure.
I kind of want to give him like a 2 because I feel like it's a standard look, but
although I mean there was a tip when he and Rebecca were in the barn before Rebecca went to school, and he was trying to pressure her to quote unquote go further.
Yep.
He's whining about it. Come on, babe. When am I gonna see you again? We gotta do this. Like he's trying to like get the deed done before she leaves. It's like if he really loved her, then he'd be fine with like, all right,
she'll be back.
We
in
love
3
each other.
months.
She'll be back.
But
he
he
was
get married.
That was the first seed of like, is this guy on the level or what?
I don't know like how this plays in because he didn't really have any other accessories, and if you want to count the drugs, maybe that's more of the plan.
Did he have like a car, like, or was it just a standard truck? Whose Trans Am was that? That was hers.
That was,
right?
Kelly
Kelly's,
Kapowski's.
right?
Yeah,
it wasn't his that she took. Like, it was hers.
No, it was hers.
Yeah,
he had a truck, I believe.
I think it was a Trans Am. So yeah, he had like a pretty standard pickup truck. I think he's got a 2.
Like a 2. I'll give it a 2
he's pretty bland.
Letterman jacket and the bully, the standard bully look, I guess.
Yeah, he's pretty bland. Pretty bland.
I think we don't even need to debate this, but like he gets a 1 for his hideout and his lair, right? Unless you want to count her barn as where he's like lurking. He's like lurking in the barn.
That's where he does his sexing and his drugging. Yeah.
Like it's got to be a 1, right? There's not even a debate on that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they even showed it. So now what about his plan? Because I don't really understand what his plan is. There's a couple things here. What do you think his plan
clearly
is?
his plan is to have both Kelly Kapowski and Carly Gugino.
Was he going to plan
that's
to
his
continue
plan.
to have her as the side chick?
Yeah, I think he's a cheating scumbag. Yeah, I think that was going to be the thing going on there. See
Once a
how far
cheater,
he
always a
could
cheater.
take both. Yeah, sure. If he was cheating on her before he was even turned down, right, for the engagement, then clearly it was going to keep going on through his cheating ways and days, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll say that. But again, are you going to blame the guy for cheating on someone like Kelly Kapowski? What are you going to do?
Can I tell you, like, she was a good actress in this. Like, she made me feel like, look, anytime anybody gets drugged in a movie in that scenario, it's not cool. But like, it was even less cool because of how well she acted and reacted to it. Like, am I being crazy?
Yeah. So here's the thing, and I hope I'm not out of line by saying this, but like, her and Pauly Shore both had the same crime committed on them, right?
Yep.
Only one of them acted like it was like, and when I say acted, I mean like the actor acted like it was kind of like goofy. Whoa, what's going on here? My head hurts. And the other one was like crying because she was so violated, right?
She was great.
Yeah. And in the comedy movie, I feel like Tiffany Amber Thiessen acted so well that it kind of like put a bummer on the movie a little bit, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Like that situation obviously is not cool.
Yeah, and it was totally called for it to be a bummer, but it's like, damn, it hit like extra hard because the same thing happened to Pauly Shore, and like he was like just confused and like kind of goofy about it.
He was like, "Oh, what happened?" And she acted so hard.
Yeah.
Like she acted herself out of this movie.
Yeah.
Like and I thought she was great. Like in fact, I forgot she was in this, and I thought she was good in this.
Yeah.
Like I liked her. I wish she was in it
And this
more.
was like straight off of Saved by the Bell too. This is 93, so it's like right there. It's like not like she like grew any. She might have been the best actor in Saved by the Bell of all
She
the
was.
kids, right?
I think Mark Paul Gosselaar's good too, but I thought she was good.
But she might have been better, like dramatically, than Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Probably, yeah.
She might have been definitely better than Jesse Spano.
Not to, not to take it down. Yeah, where's the alternate reality where Kelly Kapowski is in Showgirls instead of?
Dude, now I just want to rank how good the actors on
Saved by the Bell are.
Yeah.
See, like this is the kind of stuff you come for Son-in-Law, and you come for a spirited sidetrack of Saved by the Bell, and we should do a live show on that. We could do so. But can I also another tangent here? Can I just talk about how I'm sorry, but Kelly Kapowski, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, all-time crush for me, like growing up, all time. Like I know everyone loves Topanga and Boy Meets World, but Saved by the Bell, like I mean, she is still an all-time crush for me.
Listen. Even as like, 10-year-old, 12-year-olds, however old we were. And even though she herself was like 16, 17, 18, 19, so she wasn't like super old as well. But like Topanga was a girl and Kelly Kapowski was a woman. Right? You know what I mean?
That's a way to put it. Like
even though she was only like 17, 18, but like to a 12-year-old, it's like that's a woman.
I mean, you talk about you want to marry somebody, that Kelly Kapowski is like the one you.
Topanga was a girl. Kelly was a woman.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I didn't mean to take us down too far down this track. We'll have to have a whole show on Saved by the Bell and whatnot sometime. But Kelly Kapowski, man, that's all I'll say. So anyway, his plan. Like, what the hell is his plan? Just to marry her and at all costs?
To drug Pauly and Tiffany Amber Thiessen into making it look like they hooked up during his bachelor party in order to prove to Rebecca that Pauly's a scumbag, so she'll come running back to him and maybe not even go back to college.
Dude,
that's the plan.
I want to give this guy a 1, and here's why. Because he's so dumb. Like, he was hooking up with her best friend or one of her really good friends and expected that to not come out. Like, the second you're getting married to this, Kelly Kapowski is going to get jealous and it's going to come out. And even in the end,
probably going to happen.
Out.
Yeah.
It's a small town. Not the fact that he's sneaking around saying like, oh, I'll hook up with you later. This guy's a 1. I'm sorry. Like, it's one of the worst plans ever. And he executes it poorly and just awful.
The plan went wrong immediately when he even went to propose to her first time back from school. She's 18 years old, bro. Why don't you like let it breathe a little bit?
It's a 1, right? Like, it's got
even though I guess his instincts were correct that she was out on him immediately upon return. So, but maybe because it was because of the smothering. I don't know.
I think
what came first, her being out or the smothering completely eject her out? I don't know.
Maybe that happened before we knew it and whatnot, but it's got to be a 1, right? Like, it's just poor execution, and he fails miserably, and Pauly Shore beats him. So I feel like it's got to be a 1.
Yeah.
What about his henchman? Because he's got 1 that I know of. What do you think?
What the
Theo?
The farm dude Theo?
Henry.
Well, I mean, I thought he did his job.
He did.
The only reason that it didn't work was because Travis told on him.
And he left the pills in the car.
Yeah. He did screw up. So I don't know. He still did his job.
He got his ass fired too.
Yeah.
I did like him too.
2?
Let's give him a 2. Because I just liked him.
Yeah.
I like the guy. I think he was good. It's but I think so. Okay, so let's recap this because I know we can't spend too much time. But so we gave him a 2 for look and style, 1 for hideout and lair, 1 for plan, and 2 for henchman. That is pathetic. He got a 6, and that's that's low. That is very low.
May not even deserve a card. We'll see,
dude. He's right above Ranch Wilder, for the announcer from Angels of the Outfield, and he's right below Reinhard Bragdon and Chris Brander from Just Friends. When you compare him to Dinkelman, I mean, Dinkelman was a mastermind. He was 11. I mean, he was all kinds of bees in the hive, and this guy is just
he had a plan and a style.
This guy is pathetic. It's a 6, and it's not even worth talking about anymore. This guy sucks.
Moving
on. So I don't know. I mean, look, it's been a while since I saw this movie. It was a great watch. I just got to say, it was a fun watch. And I got to shout out my brother. My brother is the one he's always told me. He's like, you guys got to do Son-in-Law. You got to do Son-in-Law. And it's like, it's been a long time coming. It's a fun watch. I love this movie. It's not good, but it's great.
I'd say it's good. And it's a 90s movie that is timeless. Like it will be watchable 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It's just a damn good, stupid comedy.
My wife watched it with me too, and she enjoyed it. And I mean, it's just one of those movies where you just put it on, you know what to expect. It's Pauly Shore being Pauly Shore. I'm okay with that. And I'm actually looking forward to watching some of the other ones. It's
Pauly Shore with heart. It's got the most heart of any Pauly Shore movie.
I thought he did a good job. And you know what? For a Thanksgiving movie, what better one that we could have asked for?
Sure. I'm thankful for Pauly.
So I guess that about does it. I mean, happy Thanksgiving, Badway. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We mentioned what we're thankful for again. I'll just say it again. I'm thankful for all the listeners and everyone that's stuck with us over the years. Thank you guys. I hope you're all having a great Thanksgiving holiday. We'll be back in a couple weeks. We're talking about which movies we're going to do. We're going to do just the month of December is going to be a holiday themed set of episodes for us. We've done a bunch of these already. You got to check out our back catalog. We've done Jingle All the Way. We've done Santa Claus. We've done Jack Frost, all kinds of movies. So it's kind of hard to see what's out there. We'll be back on Thursday, December 8th, and then we'll have another episode also in December. But if you all have Christmas movies or holiday themed movies that you want us to check out, send us an email, thelastropodcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the page for this episode at thelastropodcast.com. Tweet at us at thelastropod if Twitter still exists by the time this episode comes out. Maybe. Leave us a comment on the Facebook page. And if you're enjoying the show, please hit subscribe. We have a new episode every 2 weeks. Please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify. Thanks to everybody that did so far. We got a couple new ones recently. Thanks again. Keep them coming in. And we'll see you guys on Thursday, December 8th.
Blue. By the way, Pauly Shore, another guy that I just have no interest in seeing romantically involved in any person ever.
So you're happy they didn't show a kiss? You don't want to see him kissing.
I think they knew. Like people don't.
Have they shown that in any of his movies? I'm trying to think back. Like he's not really in a romantic situation.
We don't need that. Like,
you know what, the awkward hookup scene?
Yeah. So how does a weasel kiss?
Yeah.